In the vast northern lands of Sinnoh, where ancient glaciers carve valleys and volcanic peaks split the sky, life has evolved in extraordinary ways. Creatures of earth, fire, water, and even time itself roam freely across these untamed landscapes. Today, we explore the complete Sinnoh Pokédex, one by one. Turtwig absorbs gentle forest light, the damp soil on its shell growing fresh moss. Grottle carries a small garden on its back, shrubs rustling softly with hidden life. Torterra stands like a living continent, a lone tree rising from its stony shell. Chimchar warms itself on sunlit rocks, the flame on its tail flickering with each breath. Monferno balances on cliff edges, its tail fire glowing steady against the wind. Infernape rests atop a boulder, heat shimmering faintly around its calm, focused stance. Piplup preens its feathers on an icy shore, droplets freezing as they fall. Prinplup stands proudly on cracked ice, flippers pressed firmly into the frozen ground. Empoleon faces the open sea, steel-like wings folded tightly against the polar air. Starly gathers in small flocks on fence posts, feathers puffed up against the breeze. Staravia circles quietly above open fields, watching for movement in the grass below. Staraptor perches on a crooked branch, its sharp gaze fixed on the distant horizon. Bidoof works patiently by the riverbank, teeth worn from shaping fallen logs. Bibarel sits at the edge of its dam, water flowing steadily around its sturdy body. Cricketot clings to tall grass blades, its tiny antennae vibrating with soft rhythm. Cricketune stands among reeds, wings slightly parted, as if ready to play its song. Shinx crouches low in the undergrowth, tiny sparks gathering at its paws. Luxio stands alert on a rock, its mane bristling with faint electric tension. Luxray watches from the shadows of the trees, eyes glowing as it sees through obstacles. Bedew rests in the morning dew, its unopened buds beaded with tiny droplets. Roserade stands poised among flower beds, fragrant petals hiding its thorned hands. Cranidos inspects stone walls, its thick skull lightly tapping ancient rock. Rampardos looms in quiet fossil fields, its head scarred from countless collisions. Shieldon shelters beneath an overhang, its shield-like face turned toward the cliff. Bastiodon forms an unmoving wall with its herd, faces aligned in unbreakable formation. Burmy hangs from a twig, its cloak made from whatever the environment provides. Wormadam blends into its surroundings, its cloak shifting with leaves, sand, or trash. Mothim rests on a tree trunk at dusk, wings patterned to disappear against rough bark. Combi buzzes near blooming flowers, its three faces sharing one simple purpose. Vespiquen hovers over her hive, hexagonal cells glinting faintly behind her. Pachirisu perches on a branch, its fluffy tail wrapped around itself like a warm blanket. Weasel floats on its back in a gentle current, flotation sac keeping it perfectly stable. Floatzel waits near a waterfall's base. Twin floats around its body, ready for sudden rescue. Cherubi clings to its branch, the smaller berry resting like a sleepy twin at its side. Cherim opens fully under strong sunlight, petals spreading joyfully toward the sky. Shellos creeps slowly along wet rocks, its soft body shining with seawater. Gastrodon settles in tidal pools, its patterned skin matching the rocky shoreline. Ambipom lounges on a tree limb, twin tail hands casually juggling fallen fruit. Drifloon bobs at the edge of an old path, its string swaying gently in the wind. Driftblim hovers over distant fields at twilight, its form drifting like a wayward cloud. Baneri curls into a ball, ears wrapped closely around its fluffy body. Lopunny stands gracefully in a clearing, long ears resting like a soft cloak. Mismagius floats over ruined stone, its voice a faint whisper in the cold air. Honchcrow watches from a rooftop, feathers dark as night against the moon. Glamiao sits atop a fence, tail coiled in a perfect spiral as it grooms. Perugly sprawls confidently on a doorstep, completely unbothered by passing footsteps. Chingling dangles from an old beam, its small body swaying with each tiny chime. Stunky stands with its back slightly turned, tail raised just enough as a warning. Skuntank guards the edge of its territory, its striped fur bristling with quiet threat. Bronzor lies half buried in the soil, its metal surface reflecting a warped sky. Bronzong rests in a forgotten shrine, faint echoes ringing from within its hollow frame. Bonsly stands perfectly still among rocks, tear-shaped eyes hinting at hidden emotion. Mime Jr. practices tiny pantomimes alone, invisible walls forming around its dance. Hapini hugs its precious oval stone, treating it like a fragile treasure. Chatot perches on a railing, head tilted as it memorizes every nearby sound. Spiritomb is sealed within a cracked keystone, ghostly faces swirling in its mist. Gibble lurks in small caves, jagged jaws poking out from piles of loose stone. Gabite guards its hoard of gems, polished stones stacked neatly near its nest. Garchomp rests half buried in warm sand, its fins just visible above the surface. Munchlax sits at the base of a tree, crumbs scattered generously around its feet. Riolu trains alone at sunrise, small paws clenched as it feels distant auras. Lucario stands motionless at an ancient altar, chest glowing faintly with inner energy. Hippopotas lies partially submerged in dry sand, nostrils barely visible above the grains. Hippowdon exhales a dusty breath, sand cascading slowly from its heavy jaws. Skorupi hides among cracked stones, tail tucked close yet poised to strike. Drapion rests beneath a dark outcrop, armor plates overlapping like a living tank. Krogunk sits near murky water, cheeks swelling slightly with stored toxin. Toxicroak leans against a rock face, poisonous claw pressed lazily to its chest. Carnivine hangs from low branches, jaws open in slow, patient anticipation. Finneon glides near the water's surface, pastel fins catching stray beams of light. Luminion clings to vertical rock walls, glowing patterns tracing lines in the deep. Mantike swims close to the sea floor, following larger shadows with trusting ease. Snova stands rooted in snow, evergreen top dusted with fresh white powder. A bomber snow towers over the forest, each step leaving a deep print in the drifts. Weavile crouches on icy ledges, claws tracing patterns in frozen stone. Magnezone hovers silently over metal-rich hills, magnets rotating with mechanical precision. Licky Licky slowly cleans its surroundings with its long tongue, leaving polished surfaces behind. Rhyperia stands firm on unstable cliffs, drill-like horn pointed toward distant threats. Tangrowth hides in thickets, tangled vines swaying gently with each breeze. Electivire grips a power pole, twin tails crackling with stored current. Magmortar sits near a lava pool, the openings of its arms glowing from internal fire. Togekiss glides peacefully above fields, its wings leaving soft trails in the air. Yanmega hovers above wetlands, compound eyes scanning every ripple below. Leafeon rests in a patch of sunlight, leafy fur rustling quietly like fresh grass. Glaceon lies on a bed of sparkling snow, icy fur refracting scattered light. Gliscor hangs upside down from a rocky ledge, wings folded tightly around its body. Mamoswine trudges through deep snow, ancient tusks jutting forward like frozen monuments. Porygon Z floats in mid-air, its body parts rotating at unsettling, disconnected angles. Gallade kneels in silent vigilance, bladed arms folded respectfully at its sides. Probopass anchors itself to a cliff face, tiny magnetic units orbiting its stony body. Dusknoir hovers at the mouth of a cave, single eye glowing steadily in the dark. Frostlass waits in the heart of an ice cave, kimono-like form framed by hanging icicles. Rotom flickers inside an old appliance, face appearing for a moment in reflected glass. Uxie sits with eyes gently closed, its presence radiating quiet knowledge. Mesprit drifts above a lake's surface, ripples forming gently where it hovers. Azelf floats near submerged ruins, tail curling softly as it watches in silence. Dialga stands within a cavern of glittering crystals, metal body echoing with each slow movement. Palkia emerges from warped space near a waterfall, its form distorting the air around it. Heatran clings to cavern ceilings, molten metal dripping faintly from its claws. Regigigas kneels among ancient pillars, chains hanging loosely from its immense arms. Giratina coils within a twisted landscape, wings stretching across fractured sky. Cresselia glides over sleeping villages, crescent wings leaving trails like soft moonlight. Fione bobs gently in warm currents, small body carried easily by the sea. Manaphy swims playfully among coral, jewel-like markings glowing beneath the waves. Darkrai stands at the edge of shadow, its outline flickering against dim starlight. Shaymin curls up in a bed of flowers, petals blooming brighter around its tiny form. Arceus hovers above a ring of ancient stone, glowing hooves never touching the ground.
Sinnoh fades behind us.
Yet a shadow rises from the west. Unova calls. A land of forgotten ruins, powerful legends, and secrets buried deep. See you on our next adventure.